everybody. Ah, spring. Spring is finally here, the temperatures are rising, and I can tell because I'm cleaning out all my sweaters and replacing them with my t-shirts. But there's another symbol of spring that we always recognize, and that is the egg. The egg is a symbol of life and rebirth and renewal, and spring is the same thing. The egg is so delicious. It can be hard-boiled, it can be soft-boiled, it can be scrambled, it can be sunny side up, it can be baked, it can be over easy. You can even make the egg into omelets with a little bit of ham and cheese. Delicious. But the egg is also packed with lots of nutrients. It only has 70 calories and 7 grams of protein and 13 essential minerals, vitamins, and iron. Eggs are great for our health, great for the cells in our body to replenish, just like spring replenishes all the plants and the flowers in the gardens outside. We're going to talk a little bit about eggs today.
This is the oldest decorated egg that has been found in the Kalahari Desert of South Africa. It dates back 60,000 years. It's actually an ostrich egg. Ostriches are the largest birds on Earth, and so their eggs are also large. They're also very thick and strong. It's believed that the people would drill a hole in these eggs, empty out the contents, and fill the shell with water to use as a flask to get them across the desert. Grass and beeswax would be used to make a stopper so the water wouldn't leak out. You can see that this egg is decorated with painted patterns. Some markings are engraved on the thick surface, probably to identify the owner of the flask.
We are going to decorate our eggs. First, we need to decide if we want to decorate a raw egg or a hard-boiled egg. Hard-boiled eggs are easy enough to make. We just put these into a pot, cover them with water, and boil them for about 10 minutes. The insides will be nice and hard so that we can work with them easier and they won't break. The only problem is we're going to have to eat these eggs because they will not last forever. We like to put an X on our eggs so we know which ones are hard boiled and which ones are not, so we can put them in the refrigerator. The other option is to just use a raw egg. Now with the raw eggs, we have to get rid of the inside, just like they did with the ostrich egg. So we're going to take a pin, get your parents to help you with this, and we're going to poke it through the shell on one end and poke it through the shell on the other end. This way we can blow into one side and the yolk will come out the other side. But these are very tiny holes. We like to make them small so they don't show, but that's way too small. So I like to get a yarn needle and then go back through the hole so that I can make it a little bit bigger. You have to be careful that you don't crack your egg because it's very fragile at this stage. So I'm going to poke that hole a little bit bigger and then I'm going to blow the yolk out. There we go. So I have blown this egg out. There's a hole in one end and there's a hole in the other end, and I blew all the insides out. I'm going to pour this down the sink and not use it. It's kind of messy. And then I'm going to rinse this egg out very well with nice warm water 3 or 4 times to get all the extra out. Then I will have a very fragile but a shell that I can use year after year and save to decorate. So you decide, do you want yours to be hard-boiled or would you like it to be hollow? So here's some eggs that have been soaking in a dye kit with a little bit of vinegar. And we will pull these out now and see how they're doing. This one is nice and purple. There we go. This one is going to be a little bit of blue. And we put some rubber bands around this one. So let's see how this did. The rubber bands should resist some of the dye in places on the egg. Look at that. So we have some interesting little spots on the egg where the rubber band was wrapped around it. That's always fun to do. And then we have our orange one. On the orange egg, we drew with a white crayon so that it would resist in some places. See the little stars that I put on there? They're very subtle. So there are 3 dyed hard-boiled eggs. And we can leave these just like they are, or we can do a little something else with them. Now, one of the easiest ways to decorate the eggs is just with some markers. You can decorate one of the eggs that we've dyed, or you could decorate a white egg, or you could even decorate brown eggs. Eggs come in different colors depending on which chickens laid those eggs. I even found this egg at Michael's. It is a paper mache egg, and so you could do those eggs too. Here's what some will look like. This egg has been drawn on it, and it has different hearts and designs on there. This egg has also been drawn on it with different patterns all the way around. This egg is actually a plastic egg that we get that opens up. And I put a little bit of tape around it so it wouldn't open up anymore. And then I just decorated the whole egg with a marker. So we could do that too. Another way to decorate eggs is to do collage. Here I've mixed some glue, white glue, with water so that we can paint it on. We've done this many times in class. We paint it on the egg and then put the paper on there. These are different colored pieces of construction paper. But watch, these are too thick to wrap around the egg. They wrinkle and stick up. That will not work. So let me show you what you can use. Here are some thin pieces of tissue paper. You can find tissue paper in your mom's wrapping. And here I'll cut some thin strips or maybe even some squares. And then I can paint these onto my egg. And the thin pieces of tissue paper will form to the egg. Remember, when we do the collage work, we put a little bit on top too to help it lay down. So some on the bottom and some on the top. This is one of the eggs that I blew the insides out. And so now it's nice and clean and it's hollow. And then I can put another piece of tissue paper on there that's even a different color, so that my egg will be all decorated. Here's one that's finished. If you look carefully at this egg, you can see through the thin layers of tissue paper. And so here I just cut some different shapes and I glued them all over the egg. The third way I'm going to tell you to decorate Easter eggs is to use a little bit of paint and some brushes. These are acrylic paints. You can use craft paints or tempera paints. I would avoid watercolors. I don't think those will stay on as well. And you can just do all kinds of little things. Like maybe I'll make some circles. I like to use shapes on there. And then I could maybe make some dashes. I could make them around the circles. There we go. And just decorate all over the egg. The only problem with using the acrylic paints is I have to do one side of the egg and then let it dry and then go back and do the other side of the egg after it's dry, because I need to lay it down so that it can dry. And you can see I can have all kinds of fun with this. I could do stripes and zigzags, and I could even paint bunnies on there, or however you want to decorate it. Let me show you some that are finished so you'll have some idea. Here's one that has some different patterns on it. Here's another one that has some different patterns on it with some different colors. And here's another one.
that has some different patterns and colors on it. So you can really have fun with these. Again, these are the eggs that I've blown out so that all the insides are removed, and I can keep these forever and ever. In the spring, I like to bring my decorated eggs out, and maybe I can just display them in a little basket and leave them on the table for everybody to see. There are all kinds of fun ideas on decorating eggs on the internet, and I'm sure you'll come up with some good ideas too. Let me know what you come up with.